I don't see any intelligent person sitting down with this for 3 days and not making the move. It's impossible.
I think what precipitated the discussion today is, obviously we're getting into lots of conversations with agents all around the country about potential move to eXp, and it is attractive to many, many agents when they understand the model, and yet there's things that kind of hold them back, things that they're scared of, and any change in life is scary, particularly a change to your career if it's going to impact your income. Because a lot of estate agents, I'd say the majority of estate agents depend on their income. Whether they're a dual income home or they're the sole breadwinner, either way, they depend on their income. So it's serious. And I know, you do, and I take that very seriously. We don't take it lightly, the decision that agents are taking. And we were discussing this in a slightly bigger group the other day, that some people seem to be able to take the leap, and others just get caught up, and they never get they get like analysis paralysis. So there's a couple of guys I've been speaking to for 2 years. In fact, they're on the western seaboard of Cape Town. They sell property in a very kind of exclusive part of Cape Town. So, I mean, they do well. They're professional. They're very good at what they do. They've built a good brand. They're with one of the big franchises. They both love eXp. And every time I speak to them, it's, we just need to ... We just got to wait for ... And it's been 2 years of waiting. And while I don't think a snap decision is always good, and there have been, in fact, a number of people I've sponsored that I've actually counseled not to join yet, that they should wait. I think there are times to wait. But, and this will be my last word on the subject by way of introduction before I ask you how you guys felt about it, I know that by nature I'm a risk taker. I will jump when I see something that's good. It's like I get a sense that this is there's like a scent of opportunity, and I will jump at it. I don't think foolishly. I'm able to make decisions quickly, and I think that stood me in good stead. I'm not foolish. I pray about stuff before I do it, but if there's uncertainty and risk, it doesn't stop me from making decisions. And I guess that in me gets me frustrated when I meet someone and I know this is going to be good for them, and there's always an excuse for why. So what I wanted to do was just grab a couple of you guys who've done well with eXp, and yet you faced a similar decision, and sort of pick your brain on how you made that decision, what the transition was like. So let's start with you. Just tell us a little bit of your story of coming over.
I'm listening to what you're saying now, and I know that when you did the model explained presentation, I WhatsApped you before you were done, telling you I'm joining eXp. So it was a quick decision, but it actually wasn't a quick decision. I've been on a journey for about a year with the Lord, figuring out what is his plan for my life and where he needs me to go. And the moment that I saw the model that eXp offers us as agents, I knew this is exactly what I have to do. So in that moment, I could make that decision quickly. But it wasn't just like a unthought through decision, because I knew exactly what the way forward was. I had no idea how this will be able with the company I was with. And that's why it was so easy for me to make that decision. But by making that decision so quickly, I did lose money because I had deals in the pipeline, and my commission split went down from a 70-30 to a 50-50 for all the deals I had in the pipeline. But that didn't concern me because I knew the bigger plan, and I could see how eXp fits into that. So that was just like, I'm going to leave that behind because I need to move now, because I knew that was the right time for me to move.
I think that's a good point you make, that even, any decision in life requires leaving something behind for the sake of embracing something better.
Bigger, yes.
Yeah. And I guess there is that element of faith or fear. Like, if I give up this, I mean, listener, you faced that, didn't you? You had to give something up to come across.
Yes, yeah, no, I like what you say, analysis paralysis. I find a lot of people have that, but I think we don't have that. But in that, that we had to leave a big chunk behind. And you just touched earlier on the fact that when you are breadwinners of the family, now the case with me and my husband was that we worked in exactly the same office. So the leave for us behind, Alet, you just spoke about your walk away with a dropped commission. So we were on a scale of a 10% royalty fees, a 50% split after that. And then if you leave, they take an additional 30%. So you walk out with 20%. So that 30% for us, like, I mean, we calculate, we don't just do a quick decision, even though, Steve, I think, as you well said, I've also been someone that takes risk in my life, but I analyze the risk before I take it. But once I've analyzed the risk, I can't unsee what I've seen. So I knew that it would be a 30% drop. And I knew that it would be a big a big loss in our income, with the 200,000 rand that we would leave behind, because that was what it calculated to, that additional 30% that they would take off. But we still opted for making the decision. And it being a husband and a wife, you can think it's silly, it's crazy, it is ridiculous, it's brave. You can think a lot of things, but I think once you've analyzed what does it mean, and then you take the leap, and you know when you know.
So was there, for either of you, pain that you did actually feel in the move, and having arrived at eXp, and was there a bit of pain?
For me, it was a very, very difficult decision not the decision. I knew this is what I had to do. It was very difficult for me to go away from where I used to work, because I was happy there. I was not looking for something else. Yes, I was on a journey in my life and trying to figure out the way forward, but never once did I think that I'm going to leave the company that I'm with. It was like a family company. There was a good culture. There was no politics that affected me. I had good relationships with everyone, and I can still remember I spoke to you about it and said, I don't know how am I going to tell these people that I'm going to leave them now, and we prayed about it together. And that gave me enough peace to know that I need to follow the Lord's plan for my life. And if it means that I need to go to a different company, that's what it means. But it was my heart was sore to leave these people behind. And I mean, that was even before I knew that I'm going to lose money. For me, it was just, it was a bigger thing than just moving from one company to another. But I always, when I speak to agents as well, I tell them to prepare their business. I mean, I prepared my business, even though I made the decision right away to move. I still didn't resign the same day and just move over. I still prepared my business. I spoke to all my clients and I told them, listen, I'm going to move to a different company. Once I'm set up there, I'll make contact with you again. Even though my principal told me, you're not allowed to speak to any of your clients, nothing like that. But I felt like I just owed them a reason. I just owed them to be open and honest with them and tell them, listen, I'm moving for personal reasons. There's nothing wrong with the company that I was with. But I'm moving to a different company. And if you want to do business with me going forward, we'll be in touch. And all my clients came back to me and supported me while I was with eXp. So they were not as much worried about the brand. I mean, when I joined, eXp was very, very new in South Africa. Nobody knew who eXp was. But my clients trusted me enough to know that I will still look after them.
Yeah. So for you, there was not just a financial loss or impact. There was a definite emotional
Yes.
bit of pain, a bit of grieving the loss of something that you were happy at.
Yes, and I had friends there. I mean, I went to the office every single day, and I felt like I'm part of this family. And I never in my mind thought that I could be happier at a different company. I mean, when I started there, I was thinking one day when I resign, I will probably open one of the franchises wherever we retire. That was in my back of my mind. It was not like I'm going there just as a stepping stone to get somewhere else. Um, so and to say goodbye to everyone there, it was really hard sore for me.
Yeah. Listener, do you relate to that at all?
I wanted my own business, but I didn't want to sign myself up for it. So I knew that I was like in this little turmoil. And my mother-in-law actually was the whole time saying, Liz, you should have your own real estate business. Liz, you should do your own business again. And I was just like, Mom, no, because I'm like, I know what I sign up for when I do this. So I just don't want to. And when they almost started anticipating that, and they were trying to offer me shares in the business and different ways of tying me in, I wasn't against that. But I also have learned through life that when people offer you things, unfortunately, very often it's only as good as the paper that it's written on. And I just, something about it that sat with me, I was uneasy about. I felt like there was a different agenda behind it. And I'm an analyzer. I'm an over-analyzer. I don't have the paralysis after it, but I do over-analyze everything that happens. So I started thinking, and I was like, Liz, you're cutting yourself short. You know your abilities. You know what you can do. And if someone else is getting nervous about the possibility of you leaving when you gave no indication that you are, then why don't you believe in yourself a little bit more? So my thoughts were eventually to do my own thing. I just knew I didn't want all of the things that comes with having your own business. I didn't want that accounting part of it. I didn't want the financial planning part of it. I didn't want all the legal and all of those organization around it. So when eXp came along, it was the perfect solution for me. It was literally having my own business without having all of that, which before that, it wasn't an option for me. So I think that is why I constantly thought, I'm happy where I am, I'm happy where I am. But I also find that there is I don't know, but sometimes there's you just mentioned like your family is set up there. I find that sometimes there's organizations that's very good at doing that. And when I resigned, Steve, you asked about the emotional pain with it. I literally teared up and cried in the office as me and Daniel were leaving. And you know why? Because I loved those people, and I loved the friends and the family that I had around it. But I also had a little bit of heart sore because I knew from that principal's perspective, the business and what we're leaving behind or what we're taking away without me wanting to take it away from him. I knew the income that we brought in. I knew the value that we added to the business. And I know what it feels like to sit in that chair where someone valuable leaves your team when you own a business like that. So for that reason, I was like, oh, I'm upset. Like it hurts my heart. But people speak about loyalty and how we are loyal. And I analyze that a lot in my life because I think I'm one of the most loyal people you'll ever find. It's just how you direct that loyalty. And I think sometimes you got to make a shift. We're very easily loyal to our works. We're very easily loyal to a brand. But if you go think, people are so easy to say, if you're a Springbok supporter, our blood is green and gold, or your blood is blue, or your blood is yellow, or your blood is orange, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, our blood is red. And I think you come back to those core values. Where does my loyalty lie? My loyalty lies with my family. My loyalty lies with me giving them the best possible life that I can. When I got married, that's what I promised. When I had kids, that's what I promised. So you have to go reflect back a little bit and go, is my blood a different color? No, it's red. And that's the core of who I am. That's the bigger promise. It's not the daily people that I enjoy. It's not those people that I really love and want to keep in my life. And I think the sad for me came a lot after it, not so much before it. I had that sadness when I left, but I'm also someone that always wants to believe in the better of everyone. I always want to believe that you want the best for my family as much as I want the best for your family. And unfortunately, that's not always what's out there. So I think the hard sore for me came after, when I saw how we were treated, when we couldn't add value to their lives anymore, when they just had to be happy for us and our family and what we're trying to do for ourselves. So I think that's when my heart sore came, because I would love to think that all my time there, everything that you said, everything that you did was you being true and honest to yourself, and to everyone else. But then you realize that that's not the case. It is, they're not really happy for your success. They're not really happy for your family. They're not really happy for you as a person. They are happy because of the contribution that that makes to them. And I think that's what my heart sore came from.
Yeah, there's that famous quote, which is quoted a lot in our business by that old motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar, who said, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. What an amazing approach to life if you can consistently live that, you know. Another way of saying it is do unto others as you would have done unto you. And I think what you've put your finger on there is valid, that we see a lot of principals jump up and down and get ugly when their agent says, I'm leaving, I'm going to eXp. You know, one of the most deplorable practices in the real estate industry is restraints of trade. Why would you cause someone to not be able to feed their family because they have found something that's better for them? You know, if either of you guys, and I mean, you guys are amazing members of my team, not just financial contributors, but culture and friendship and relationship, I would be very sad if you left. But if either of you came to me and said, not that I have any authority over you, we don't in eXp, we're partners, but emotionally, if you came to me and you said, I've been offered something better, and you explained it to me, and I could see actually that is better for Paul and Alette or for Daniel and Lisna, I'd like to think I would bless you as you go. I would say, look, I'm going to miss you guys, but I can see that's better for you. And if I can help with the transition in any way, I would help with the transition. You know, why do we want to penalize people for leaving us? They're not our slaves. Anyway, it's slightly off topic, but I mean.
No, but I love what you're saying, Steve, because that's one of the things that when I got my eXp contract, I read and I read and I read, and I so appreciate about the company. It also gave me a little bit more, like, I don't know, like a warm feeling in my heart, because eXp, and now it's not just a contract, I've also seen it out in practice. If you decide that eXp, for whatever reason, is not working for your life, there's no restraint of trade, there's no holding back of commission, there's nothing like that. It is just, we wish you the best, move on with your life, and we hope that everything would be okay. And when I went through that and I realized, listen, this is a company that really backs themselves, it just tells me so much more about the company, because it tells me that they know what they offer, they know what they've got, and therefore, because it's not possible to beat or really, I want to say, to really be a competitor for them, they wish you well as you move along. And I think that wholeheartedness of them and that backbone that they stand for, that means a lot to me. That means that we know what we offer. If that's not for you, we wish you the best, because something else in your life might be more suitable for you. And I think that's so valid.
Steve, just something that I want to add to the pain that that I went through is I didn't want to write a letter of resignation and just send them to them on email. I wanted to sit with them face to face and explain to them what happened, and that I wasn't looking for something, and the way that the principal handled that whole situation. I mean, she was not open to listen to anything I said. The moment I told her that I'm going to leave, her whole attitude changed, and she was not approachable. I never got to the point where I could tell her why I'm leaving or where I'm going. It was just like door was shut, and that was it. So for me, that was very sad. But I chose to remember the good stuff. I'm not going to hang on to that. I choose to remember the good times I had there and all of that. And because I also believe in the way that you leave one place is how you start the next. So, and I can agree with what Lisna said. I mean, the way that the agents are treated at EXP is just totally different. I mean, I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm enjoying my work way more than I've ever done. And never in my mind I thought it's possible because I was happy and I was enjoying my work. But now it's just few levels up. And we've been privileged enough to go to EXPCon in Vegas earlier this year and to experience that the vibe in such a big event where there's like 6,000 agents and everyone is happy and everyone is there to support each other and see how we can help each other and learn from each other. It's just I'm getting goosebumps if I just think about that
That's
because
phenomenal.
that is what I experienced there. And never in my life did I think it's possible to experience something like that within a real estate company, because usually you just have this competition between the agents and trying to steal your client or whatever. And I've never experienced that within EXP.
If I look back at my decision to join eXp, it's slightly different. I don't work as an agent. I had a training company, and yet I faced a massive decision. You know, I did training for all of the big companies in South Africa. I was speaking at national conferences. I was being supported on webinars, and I made all my sales in these speaking engagements. That's the model when you've got a training business. And I knew when I looked at eXp, I think I was a bit like you, Alette. I understood the model from the moment I saw it. And I understood there is a massive opportunity here. And then I began to process this. And I realized if I join eXp, now this is a recruitment-driven business. For me, it's going to be recruitment-driven. There is no real estate company in their right mind that's going to have me come and train their agents if they know that I'm recruiting agents. And so I knew I was turning my back on a 20-year career as a real estate trainer, and my income would drop to zero. And I did it. Now, why did I do it? I guess there's two things, and I would encourage anybody out there who's facing this decision to join EXP, but they've got fear, there's stuff I'm leaving behind. There's two things. The first question I got clear on in my mind was, if I stay where I am, what will life continue to look like? Where will I be in 5 years or 10 years if I keep doing what I'm doing? And when I honestly looked myself in the mirror and I asked that question, I didn't like the answer. I did not want to carry on doing what I was doing. It's exhausting. Selling training all the time, the next webinar, the next speaking engagement, the next hotel, the next conference. You're only ever as good as your previous speaking engagement, and it's exactly the same for estate agents. You're only ever as good as your last sale, and you wake up the next month and you got to do it all over again. And what I saw in the EXP model was that exit plan, that ability to build up a passive income. And I mean, I've been in for less than 2 years, and I can tell you now the amount of money, I've never made the amount of money I'm making now. I've never made what I made this month at EXP. I have never made that in 25 years of owning my own businesses. And if I did not work for the next 12 months, it would be that amount, give or take, and it would grow because the group is growing. That number gets bigger and bigger every month, and it's not me that's doing it now. It is a passive income. I mean, everything that I hated about the grind of what I was doing has changed with EXP. So it was asking myself, if I stay where I am also giving something up. I think that's a key insight. You're not just giving something up if you move. You're giving something up if you stay. What are you giving up? And then the positive thing of what am I gaining if I go? And when I compared those two things together, the risk was worth it. And then I think, and I'd love to hear your comments on all of this, you have to get to the point where you are willing to take a risk. And if you're not willing to do that, you're never going to take any opportunity in life.
Steve, I have to say that one of the big things for me, and now if I think back on it, it's like so little, is the 800 Rand a month. I mean, with the company I used to work with, we didn't have desk fees. And at that stage, I was successful, but that was a big leap for me to think now, from now on, I need to be able to pay 800 Rand a month. And I didn't know if that was possible. But like I said, I went through the motions. I made the decision, and not 1 month did I not have 800 Rand to pay. And personally, I've grown so much. I've learned so much more about real estate. My business has grown. I've had my best 2 years in real estate since I joined eXp. And so that 800 Rand is like nothing now. And I know that 800 Rand is when I speak to agents, that's a big issue for them. And I can relate to that, because for me, that was also a big issue. But it's like you said, if you look at the model and you look long term, it does not make sense if you don't take that leap of faith. That's just my opinion.
I did a short calculation where I was like, how many mandatory meetings do I have to attend on a weekly basis? How many branding drives? How many mandatory breakfast meetings, etc., etc.? The time to get dressed and drive to the office. Like, I like to calculate things like that up. And the hours that I saw that went into that I don't earn from, that I don't get to spend with my family, for me, that's a currency. For me, my time is a currency. So I thought, you know what, even if nothing else, me having this additional time, I can then choose, do I want to spend it on the business and sell more houses, or do I want to spend it on my family? But for me, it was gaining something just in the value of time. And Alette, like you just said, I've only been in for a year now, but financially, it has gone so much better than in any other industry that I've ever been in, including the real estate industry. And that was after a year that I was off for 3 months because of a surgery. So 2023, I can't wait for you. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Steve, you've got this event coming up. I'm like, besides the fact that I'm selling houses, I'm building business, and I'm just having the time of my life. I honestly am. I think if you've been in real estate maybe for a long time, you might get a little bit tired of it. I think that we always, as human beings, we need to remember that we need to change it up. We need to have different challenges. It's very easy to get into a comfort zone. And it's very easy to stay in that comfort zone because it's comfortable for us. We do that everywhere in life. So I think when you challenge yourself to take yourself out of that comfort zone, that's when you grow. That's when you get the opportunity to live the life that you meant to live. And you just here for this period of time, this many years, and it goes so fast. You have to be the best you that you can be. You have to have the opportunities to be the best person that you can be.
That's true, listener. And one of the core values of eXp is putting fun back into real estate. And I have to say, the events that we've been to, all fun is always part of the equation. And you also mentioned that you were off for 3 months, and your business was still able to grow while you were off. My daughter got married in November in America, and we had to go back there. And the great thing about eXp is that my business didn't have to stop because I was not geographically in South Africa. We can still work, and we were able to sign deals while we were abroad. So just that freedom that eXp gives you, is that you can choose yourself. Do I spend this time with my family? Do I spend this time on my business? Where can I go on holiday and just enjoy life, but still be able to work? I mean, that is something that eXp offers us that I haven't seen anywhere else.
I love selling property. And if I weigh up, like you were just saying, what does the future look like in a couple of years? And do you really like it? Do you really like everything that you're going to do? I really love selling property. I do. Now, in 10 years, I might be tired of it, but I really love doing that. So if I have to weigh up me running a business, running an office, as I was offered with the previous employment that I could grow into that role, for me, that would translate into selling less property because I'm busy with the office setup, I'm busy with the office management. I knew I didn't want to do that. Now, eXp allows me to grow a business where I don't do that. I don't have to oversee administrators. I don't have to see daily running of an office. I don't have to see any of that. But I've got a team of 67 agents at the moment. So I like that I get to sell property while I get to change people's lives in them forming part of our eXp family. I mean, like, it's best of both worlds. I'm like, how do you beat this? Because if you want your own business, you want all the freedoms that comes with it, you have to sacrifice somewhere. When I had the college, that was very evident for me. I had a passion for the development of people. So I really feel like eXp gives me the best of both worlds. I've got a team and I'm running this team, but I get to do what I'm still passionate about, which is going into those homes, meeting those people, matching a buyer together with a property. Like, I love that. For me, that's also a way of changing lives, which I really, really enjoy. And I don't want to give that up to run an office administrative system. So I think that's another thing that I really love about eXp.
Yeah, listener. So that actually leads into the final comment that I want to make, which is on this matter of taking a risk. What is the risk when you join eXp? Yes, you may have to leave some commission behind. Yes, you may have to leave some listings behind. Yes, you may have to box smart and negotiate your way out of a restraint of trade, or make come up with a plan with your principal. Yeah, there's going to be some things you've got to do, and there may be some things you give up. But what I want to say is, have a little faith. Have a little faith and be willing to take a risk. The beauty about eXp is this is not an unknown quantity. When we say have a little faith, we're not saying take a blind leap into the unknown. When I looked at eXp, I did my homework, and if you do your homework, you will find this is the fastest growing real estate company in history. It is the biggest real estate company now in America after just 13 years. We're in 22 countries. We've got 87,000 agents. There are 700 agents already in South Africa. So, I mean, it's not like it's an unknown quantity. This thing is a proven business. It's listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange. The compliance hoops you've got to jump through if you list on the NASDAQ. So it's not like we're asking you to join some, like I came up with some idea in my garage last night after eating the wrong meal, and I had like hallucinatory thoughts, and suddenly I've got this idea. We're asking you to join a proven company globally. And I think, listener, what interests me about the way you were describing what you were saying there is so much of what we do is trying to get agents to just take an intelligent look at eXp. It's like, just stop for a moment and come and look. We're not trying to hide anything. In fact, the reason we have the events, the reason I do these interviews is to just try to get people to stop and just give it some attention. We're not trying to hide anything. We want you to look. We want you to meet the people. If you do your homework into eXp, you will find this is the best people on the planet, the best teams, the best culture, the best collaboration, and the model of the company is the best of any model on the planet. That's what you're going to find out. Great people, great company. So just have a little faith and then be willing to take a leap. Any last words from either of you?
Steve, I think it's sorry, listener.
Go for it, Elite.
I think that's sometimes something that scares the people because it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything that was said about eXp is exactly how it is. The way they pay you, that was explained before the time. The way you make money, the extra streams of income, everything that was explained in the model, that is exactly how it works. It's not like once your foot is in, now you're stuck within this company and you can't leave, and things are working differently. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of agents, and when you ask them what is their split, they tell you this is my split, but this and this happens before you get to the split. And I mean, there's nothing like that in eXp. Once you do a deal, the invoice is there. You can see exactly where all the money goes and exactly what the amount will be that will go into your bank account. I think it's just that people think it's too good to be true, but yeah, it is as good as it says it is.
Alette, that's very true. And I love that you touch on the transparency, because that's one of the things that it wows me. And every time I show it to another agent, it wows them as well. You love to see where everything goes in this transaction. I think the thought in buyers and sellers' mind out there is always, sure, agents get this huge commission, but what they don't realize is how that filters through and what actually lands in the pocket. But sometimes as an agent, I didn't even know where it disappeared in the filter by the time it lands at the bottom. And I love that about eXp, because I don't have to wonder. The facts are there. Everything is there. Like you said, Steve, there's nothing that's hidden. There's nothing that's secretive. Like, we want you to see everything. We want you to know everything. And that runs through to the top, because on our software, everything is shown there. But I think the final message that I want to leave with is just to say that rush, I get it. I said to you before, Steve, if I didn't have a chain of circumstances which led me to sit still, I would have also been the agent that kind of put it off. Because when you're busy and you've got a lot of listings and you've got other listings that are coming in and you've got sales that are halfway, like, there's so much happening, you don't allow yourself the time to sit still. But I think it's the realization, and hindsight's always a beautiful view, to know that even if I was in a rush, I would have missed the opportunity of my lifetime if I did not sit still to have a look at this. For me, it's an absolute must. That rush is not worth it, because you can get on the other side of the rush. I ran into an agent I used to work with the other day, and she said she's still at the office I was before, and she's like, Lisna, how are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing very good. And she said, yeah, I've been so busy, blah, 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 blah. You're probably very busy as well. And I stopped for a moment, because normally my response would be yes, like I'm out of my mind. I don't even know what's going on. But I just realized, I understand you're busy, and my busy now is not the same. I am busy, but it's a different busy. It's a happy busy. It's a passionate busy. It's a lot of different things. But if I decide to go sit still now, I don't have to be busy. I don't have to be nervous for what's happening in my bank account or with my family's lives, because things have just changed. I know that my busy and your busy is two different things. So I couldn't respond with yes. I actually said to her, you know what, I'm actually a little bit more calm. But I'm doing better than I ever have. And that speaks so many different words on so many different things. Because yes, the bank account shows that, but my family life also shows that, and my personal life also shows that, the time I spent with myself, which often we don't have time for. So my challenge out to those agents is to kind of say, take a moment. It doesn't take as long as you think it does to do the research. So just take a moment, go sit yourself down and go do that, because I thought that it'll take me long, and because I was forced into it, because I then did it, I realized, you know what, Lisna, all you had to do is stop for a day or two and your life would change. So I was happy that the brakes were slammed on me, that made me stop. So don't rush yourself past this. It's not worth losing out on this opportunity. It is not worth missing what you could be into. Steve, I was like astounded when you just said like a year or two or whatever that you spend with some of these agents. And I'm just thinking, oh my word, so much lost time. Like, you could be all settled in, you could be all happy by now. So just, it doesn't need to be a week, a month, 2 months. Just sit down for a weekend. Just sit down for 3 days. Take those 3 days off for yourself and research. And if you get by the end of that and you're like, Alette, it's too good to be true, I felt the same. But it's so good to see that it is that good. But if you sit down for those 3 days, go through everything, then you go back to your rush if that's what you want to do. But I don't see any intelligent person sitting down with this for 3 days and not making the move. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, the model speaks for itself. So, and I mean, all the agents are available. I mean, even you, Steve, you always tell us, do a 3-way call. Let's chat about your concerns. I mean, I haven't came across one agent that was concerned about something or had questions about something that we couldn't answer. But at the end, you need to make the decision and take that leap of faith. And it's like what Lisna said. Don't waste your time pondering on this. I mean, once you've seen it, you actually know. You actually know this is the best thing for you. So just take that leap of faith. You will have people around you that will support you, that will motivate you, that will help you with planning. There will be training available, everything that is needed. And I think some agents have the concern that, oh, now I'm going to be on my own because everything is in the cloud, and it's just different with eXp. Even though our meetings are online and our training is online, you're still part of a family, and you still meet with agents in your area. And if there's no agents, you will get some more agents in the area anyway. So you will just become part of a great family. And yes, I would say just don't waste more time. Become part of this great family of us, and experience what we are experiencing. Change your life for the better.
Beautiful. Thank you, Alette. Lisna, thank you for your time. I know you're sitting in London on holiday, but yeah, I appreciate everything that you guys are and do for the business. And I'm so glad you've joined me for the journey. I know we're all having a lot of fun, and I think it's just getting started. I think the next few years in this business in South Africa is going to be so exciting. So yeah, God bless you, ladies. Have a wonderful Christmas. And to those of you out there, have a great Christmas this year. Reach out to whoever it is that shared this video with you. Reach out to them, have a conversation, and have a little faith. Come and join us.